Thank you so much for joining me for our color grading tutorial and how to apply Illume LUTs to your raw footage. Now that you have Illume LUTs installed within Final Cut Pro, it's time to begin grading. So I've selected a variety of raw footage clips that we're going to work through, and I'm going to show you how to apply Illume LUTs in a variety of lighting scenarios. So let's get started. First things first, you'll see that by selecting Mix and dragging it along, it'll change the intensity of the LUT that's applied to your clip. I'm going to go ahead and keep mine at 1 for now. And I'm going to come down here and find Color Wheels. I'll go ahead and drag it over here, drop it on top of my clip, and move into the effects. Within this area, I can make changes to the exposure, shadows, highlights, and midtones by raising them or lowering them. I can also make changes to my temperature and tint. I can add magenta or add green within the tint, or add some warmth or coolness within the clip. So I can see here that I just need some more life to these skin tones. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the temperature up. And as I raise it, I can also see that there's a lot of green in this image. So I'm going to bring my magentas in by raising the tint up. Then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to raise the highlights a little bit. I'm going to bring the shadows down. Cool, that's feeling so much better. I can tell that I want to bring some saturation into their skin tones, so I'm going to go ahead and find Hue and Saturation and drag that on top of my clip as well. Here's where I can find my Hue and Saturation, and I'm going to go ahead and raise it. That is looking so much better. Their skin tones are just brought to life, and I feel really happy with this image. And here's a before and after. So much better. Next, we have a beautiful ceremony setup, and let's begin by adding our custom LUT. Select Custom LUT, drag that over the top. And for this one, I want to use, let's try Illume Soften. That might be a little bit too much than what I need, so let's bring it back to Illume Standard. And now let's find our color wheels also. Drag and drop. Now I think I'm going to go ahead and lower the shadows down a little bit, raise the highlights up, and make some slight adjustments to the temperature. Just warming everything up a little bit. Cool. I feel really good about that, and let's go ahead and also grab a little bit more saturation. Just adding a little bit of saturation, not too much. And I think that looks awesome. Let's look at a before and after. Not much was needed, but it just kind of overall brightened everything up and made it look really stunning. Let's move on to this one. Now this one is tricky because you can tell that they are on a lawn that is just casting a lot of green cast onto their skin tones. So for this one, I'm going to go ahead and add Illume Magenta. And that is looking so much better already. I'm going to next grab my color wheels. And from here, I'm going to add a little bit of exposure, not too much. I'm also going to even add a little bit more magenta into this image. That looks great. And then let's add some saturation back in. Oops, too much. I would be happy with that right about there. So let's look at the before and after. So much better, maybe a slight bit too much magenta, so I can always come into my color wheels. Scale that back just a couple dials, and that looks perfect to me. Here's one more, same couple and same venue, and we're also running into the same issues. So I'm going to go ahead and also select Illume Magenta for this one. Skin tone's looking so much better. And then let's go ahead and grab our color wheels. And I want to bring those shadows down a little bit. His suit was just looking a little bit too washed out to me. And let's bring the exposure up just a little bit. Great, and then I might even add a little bit more tint. Awesome, and then let's warm them up just a smidge. Cool, from here I'm going to grab some saturation and just give them a little bit of life to their skin tones. Great, so let's see the before and after. So much better, well balanced, not overexposed, and their skin tones look awesome. Here's another portrait of a couple. Now I can already tell that this image got slightly overexposed. I lost some detail in these florals here, these beautiful peonies. And so as I work on this one, I know that I'm going to be really sensitive to the highlights, seeing if I can retain any in those florals, but then also making sure that I'm not blowing out any other highlights, such as her dress here. So I'm going to come over and grab Custom LUT. And just Illume will do the job for this one. Those colors are just looking so much more vibrant and beautiful. Those greens have cooled down, and I'm going to grab my color wheels here. So within this image, I can see that their skin tones are feeling a little bit green for me. And always be sure that when you're changing your tint and temperature, that you're changing it to taste. Some of us enjoy skin tones a little bit more on the pink side and some more on the green side. So it's totally up to you on which route you want to take. I love the way that that looks there. And let's see, let's add a little bit of temperature. A little bit of warmth. And then let's add a little bit of warmth too. Cool. I always love to add in a little bit of saturation. And I think that looks awesome. Let's see the before and after. Next, we have a really sweet couple. They got married on a very stormy day, and so we found ourselves really warming up every image, all their details, and their skin tones as well. So I know that this will be a great fit for our Illume Warm. Go ahead and apply that, and that already looks so great. Now let's just make a few minor tweaks to our color wheels. Within our color wheels, I think what I want to do is I want to bring down the shadows a little bit, making sure that those shadows aren't lost completely. And then I want to give them a little bit more tint. And then maybe even bringing down the master a little bit. That looks so pretty. I want to add a little bit of saturation, as I always do. And there we go. That looks awesome. Let's see the before and after. So much more vibrant. Their skin tones look beautiful, and I'm really happy with this given the circumstances we had to work with. I hope that you found this tutorial very helpful, and we are so excited to see what you create with Illume LUTs. For additional grading support, be sure to join our Facebook community group where we will be showing weekly tutorials on how we grade different scenarios in different types of light. We would also love if you tagged us on Instagram at Illume_LUTs or hashtag IllumeGraded so that we can see what you're creating. Thank you so much for listening in, and we're so excited to see how your films are elevated with Illume LUTs.